Hey, welcome to Guitar Knobs, the guitars, gear, noise, and nonsense podcast, hosted today by these knobs.
Tony Dudzik, Pick Guardian.
Jared Brandon.
Hi, hey everybody, it's me, Todd Novak. Welcome to the Guitar Knobs podcast. We are thrilled to death that you are listening to our show. The podcast about what, Tony?
Stuff. Boutique gear.
That's all.
Guitars, amps, pedals, accessories.
Let Jared say some stuff so he doesn't feel left out. What else, Jared?
Pickups, and we do little advertisements, and we have awesome people on.
We do little advertisements. That's what the show's about. Yeah.
Well,
do we have shows where we learn stuff, Jared?
We do. 101s.
That's correct. That's correct.
We talk about Gibsons and Fenders and Gretches.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
Other stuff.
All the things. Okay. Yeah. Hey, he left the cue cards here. If this is your first time, if you have any questions, just raise your hand. Yeah. We will answer them accordingly.
Well, as I've always said, if you have questions, send them on the back of a $20 bill.
Yes.
To our P.O. box.
To me.
To Todd.
Yes. We have a fantastic guest tonight. We're really, really happy for multiple reasons, which you will hear all about. But guess who are you?
Hey, this is Rick Calhoun with Honeypix.
Hey.
All right. And that is not a dating app, is it?
No.
Okay.
You don't have to swipe.
I'm just making sure. Yes, sir. Rick Calhoun, one of our supporters who we are so grateful for, and also a Honeypix man, the guy who founded Honeypix, making the picks for you all to use and stuff. We're going to get into that later. And I think we've got a pretty packed show. So I'm just going to get on it. We've had a very busy couple of weeks. I feel like we all have, but also for the podcast, we've had a lot of calendar shifting, and we're trying to pivot on that stuff. Mm-hmm. Things in the world are happening. People's lives are happening, and it's our real life is happening. So we have to balance that too. This is not the only thing we do. Believe it or not.
This is all I do. I do nothing
This show
else.
has a great 401k. Yes. I don't know if you know that, Tony.
I like the medical plan the best.
Yes. All right. We got some announcements, and we need to thank. Yes. Tony just wants to say that. Very happy with our partnership of sorts. It's not official. It's not a legal partnership. We've got they take pretty good care of us.
They take excellent care of us, and they take care of other people too.
That is.
We've been using these same
correct.
Rode mics for literally years now.
100 years.
Yeah.
No, seriously, we've been using the same mics, and they're crispy and clean. They're great microphones.
They're a little smelly
really
now.
Are. Well, yours is. So anyways, big shout out to Nick down there at Rode. And we also have a couple other things. We want to give a shout out to Jonathan Daly.
Jonathan Daly!
Yes. And one of our grand poobahs. He won the Lisa S. Johnson Immortal Axes Guitars that Rock book with the matching protective bag and signed by Lisa S. Johnson.
Yes.
Susie Quattro.
Oh, yes.
Who I'm in conversation with, trying to get on the show.
Whoosh.
And Peter Frampton.
Wow.
Pretty cool. So
I would
if you have not heard that podcast yet, you need to go listen to her talk.
Yeah, that was such a great show
we've ever had. Yeah, she was great.
She was very nice. Very professional.
Indeed.
Absolutely.
Indeed.
And the book is outstanding.
It really is. And so was the one before it, 108 Guitars That Rock.
Yes, I have both.
Yep, so do I.
My buddy came over and he looked at every single page of that book. He couldn't put it down.
Yeah.
I'm like, are we going to go get some burgers? He's like, just give me a minute. Kept looking at the book.
Yeah, pretty soon you're looking at him and he looks like a giant burger.
So, one of the cool thing about books, Jared, is you can actually take it along with you.
Take it with you, yes.
I don't want that book in the burger joint, especially with me eating around it.
Yes,
there's going to be ketchup and mustard drips.
If you ever get the chance to watch Jared eat soup, it's a treat. So we've got.
I have an announcement.
Okay, Tony. Gosh. Go ahead.
You can go ahead with your
go
announcement
ahead.
first.
Go ahead.
No, I just wanted to give a tip of the hat to our good friend John Esterly, who is putting out a special edition of his snitch pedal in the Ukrainian flag colors of yellow and blue.
Very cool.
And the wording is all done in Ukrainian. And, I mean, in addition to looking really cool, he's also giving a hefty portion of the proceeds to humanitarian aid.
He is a good
Ukraine.
dude.
So
What a fine
I
fellow.
ordered one. I mean, I saw the post. I just said, here's
Does
my
he have
money.
a bunch of them left?
well, he's pre-ordering, and
Yeah.
he's going to build them as he can.
I don't know how I missed that.
Yeah. Well,
Okay, I'll have
but
to
it's
check it
very
out when I
cool.
get
So,
home.
John, way to go!
Good job, John.
It's very impressive. and-
There's quite a bit of builders doing that
yeah.
sort of thing too. So just the outpouring immediately from the guitar community whenever there seems to be anything askew in the world that doesn't align with how skew our guitar world is, we pounce on it, and it's great.
Yeah.
So I also want to give another massive shout out to Chase Gullett. He is releasing his new amplifier. I was lucky enough to kind of, ride along while that was happening. And it's cool to see something come to fruition from ground zero.
Have
And
you
it
seen
sounds awesome.
Zach's
Yeah. I've
demo.
played the amps.
Zach
killed
made
it.
that thing howl.
Yeah, it was.
Holy smokes!
Yeah, they are really, really great
That's a
sounding
good amp.
amps, and they look gorgeous. And
yeah.
They do.
Anyway, so just congratulations. He's a very, very dear friend of mine, and we're gonna have him on the show
Oh, good.
to talk about that and a lot of his new
cannot
models. He's been on before, but that was a while ago.
If I can
Oh,
be
yeah.
there in town when he's there, that would be optimal.
I would agree with that.
We can go have drinks afterward and celebrate
Like
the amplifier.
Like fizzy ones, or like what is that?
Pink umbrella
Yeah.
drinks.
Yeah,
It's just IPAs or whatever.
yeah. Okay,
Rotar beer, whatever you like.
sure. Okay.
Go pee,
Me-
whatever.
all the things. I also wanted to give a quick shout out to.
Who?
I know this is. I'm not saying these aren't shout outs. I don't know why. Who made up that term anyway? Whatever.
out.
Yeah. Kevin O'Lear, who is a new supporter of ours, said, "Hey, my main gear of choice is various Tellys, Fernandez J bass, Gretsch 5120 modded, a Sire Larry Carlton S7. Sorry, Todd, but I love Strats in parentheses, and a handmade mandolin. That's
Nice.
quite a range. That's like a full range of almost everything you need. You just need like a BC Rich or something in there. And the amp is a Helix. It says, I also play a Santa Cruz Tony Rice Pro for acoustic gigs.
That's cool.
Yeah. Says his favorite part of the show is the main interview and also the 101s. When my wife is listening and the 4 on the Floor segment comes up, she will say the catchphrase along with the show. Hilarious. I think that's hilarious too. The reason for supporting the show, he said, is because of the wealth of knowledge between Jared and Tony and Rob.
And not Todd.
And not,
Yeah.
he does not.
God, you just talk your way through it every
Yeah.
show.
And but he says he
Good
absolutely
job, Adam.
absolutely loved the show. Man, we're so grateful for you out there and for supporting and everything, and just being a good friend to our show.
Appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank
yes,
you.
sir. All right. Let's find out what we have got going on in our music worlds this week, gentlemen. Starting with Tony, and then we're going to check in with our friend Rick Calhoun.
Okay.
What's up, Tony? What's up?
Well, this is an exciting time because I think I talked a little bit about. I worked out an arrangement with Mike over at Eastwood Guitars.
Yeah.
For a new Revolta.
Yes.
And this is a Revolta.
It's pretty. It's right in front of us.
Semi-hollow. It's kind of a cross
I love the
between
body shape.
a 335 and a Fender Starcaster because it's kind of offset. But again, the Revolta line is designed by Dennis Fano. Previously of Fano guitars, now of Novo guitars, and Novo and Revolta and Eastwood have a joint showroom and an assembly room and a factory down in Nashville.
But no Fano guitars there.
Well, no, because
I know. I'm just saying.
There you would be hard pressed to find a Fano guitar there, because Dennis doesn't own Fano anymore.
That's why I said that.
Yes. But anyhow, long story even longer. So I got, and this is, I say this only because I was so impressed with the customer service at Revolta, Novo, Eastwood. So they had sent a guitar up, and there are a couple of issues with it. And Mike put me in touch with Wes, who is kind of their product development, customer service, whatever down there. And we talked about some of the issues I was having with this particular instrument. He said, you know what? Let me send you a return label. Send that one back. I'll get another one out to you. And that way you don't have to wait till I work on this one and, all the things. So a new one came. It's a wonderful instrument. And Wes and I had a very good talk. And in fact, one of the even nicer things was he says, a lot of customers call and ask about custom pick guards for our guitars. And we know that you usually say you'd like to have the original one to duplicate. He says, I've got a pile of
That's awesome.
pick guards down here. Can I send you one of each model? And then you'll have masters for all of that.
That's super cool.
So he put those inside the front pocket of the gig bag that came with this guitar. But anyhow, the guitar is wonderful. I'm very, very happy. I can't wait to, put it through the ringer again.
It'd be better if it was black. But
for some people, I could see that. But yeah, it's very cool. I did make a new pick guard for this one though.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's the guard that I made. I mean, It's the same shape. But
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's the same shape, but I used 5-ply material.
Yeah.
So that's just my little thing. And as a thank you to them, I sent up some material, some of the glitters and some of the acrylic materials, because Dennis has been doing once a week kind of a master built guitar where he specs everything, the wood of the instrument, the pick guard, the pickups, and everything like that.
Yeah.
So I sent this package, and I talked to Wes today. They received it. He's going to pass it on to Dennis, and he thinks that Dennis will probably want to use some of that on one of these custom master built.
That's a Classico, right?
No, this is a Regatta.
A Regatta. Yeah, right.
It's a Regatta.
A regatta.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
It does come in black though, Todd, if you're interested.
Does it? Yeah.
With gold sparkle and stuff?
It's weird because it's a little bit smaller body than my Hagstrom. I feel like I could be wrong, but I feel like
This way is probably
the width isn't quite as big.
Well, I think it is.
Is it?
Is it
It's
bad?
because it's offset.
It's offset just a touch.
Yeah.
A touch to my.
But no, beautiful stuff. And again, Dennis designed some incredible. He's just got the eye for, even the F holes are special shapes. The body is shifted. The horns look right.
I really love the cuts on the horn.
Yep.
Those are great.
It's nice.
Well done, Tony. Well done. We're gonna turn it over to Rick.
Yeah. Have you guys heard of Music Box Pedals?
Music Box.
Maybe by sight. Let me check.
They came out with a pedal called the Lila Drive. Not too. I guess it was.
Yeah. With the like the pinwheel.
Yeah. So I bought the Lila Drive last year when it came out, and it's like his version of a Timmy, and I love that pedal. It's one of my favorite pedals. Well, I've been looking for a new Klon circuit, and he just came out with his version of the Klon, and I just got that in, and I love that pedal. I haven't had a Klon circuit type pedal on my board for probably about a year, and I used to always have one on my board, and just kind of missed that tone, the frequencies that pedal gives, and I just haven't been able to turn that pedal off. It's just, I don't know, it just does the right thing for me, for my tone, for the way I like to use it.
That's the way. It's got a Centaur with a flying V.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
you gotta respect that. That's fun.
And something cool about that, I didn't realize it, but the lady that he had to make that graphic,
yeah,
she has bought picks from me, like custom picks, and I didn't realize it. She's from Singapore, and she messaged me whenever I showed a picture of that Music Box Pedals clone, and she said, "Hey, I designed the graphics for that pedal." I was like, "Oh, that's really cool."
Oh, that's cool.
So that was kind of neat. That kind of came full circle, but
that's neat. Yeah. You know what? We got to get them on the show, doggone it.
Yeah.
Music Box Pedals.
Yeah, he does some cool stuff, and just a really nice guy too.
Awesome.
But
I'm into it. All right. Well, we're gonna book that dude. If you talk to him before I do, tell him that.
Oh, I'll talk to him tonight.
Cool.
I'll text him.
All right. So that's the lot. Now you got the Lila drive with what is? I'm trying to think of. I know it's a drive, but what's it based on? Anything in particular?
Yeah,
the Timmy. That's right.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yeah. That's
cool. Does it do anything for you that the Timmy doesn't, or is it just a sort of slightly different?
It's just, well, if you've ever had a regular Timmy, you'll notice that the pots kind of work backwards from what you'd normally be used to using. So
like a Vox.
Yeah. So on his pedal, he's made it to where, on the highs and lows, you start on the left side with the least amount of highs and lows, and as you go
right, it's not a cut. It's not a
right.
cut. Yeah, like a rat.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool, man. Now, what amp are you running this? Do you have like a go-to amp that you run this stuff through? Just trying to get a sense of where your tone's at.
I run stereo into a Vox AC15 and a Fender Deluxe Reverb reissue.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I couldn't help doing it. It's so dumb. I hate myself. Do you, I guess I'm imagining that sounds pretty different on those two.
Oh yeah. That's why I put those two amps together, because they're so different, but when you put them together, they really, the frequencies kind of add up and fill in all the spaces,
Yeah.
On their own, I prefer the Fender with pedals alone. The Vox it still sounds good with pedals, but I prefer the Fender if I'm just going to take one amp.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, now we have an idea of what you're all about. At least for right now. We're going to find out a whole lot more later, but.
Oh yeah.
Very cool. Well, let's see. Jared, how about yourself?
Oh yes. So a customer of mine who wants to remain anonymous for this subject that I'm about to talk about. I said about like I'm Canadian. That's funny. So I was talking to him the other day, and he's going to be down at the Good Guys
Is this Mike?
Guitar Show. What's that?
I'm trying to get you to say his name.
So down at the guitar,
not Mike.
Go ahead.
Down at the guitar show, and he said, bring all that stuff down there. He's interested in all my Marshall, a lot of my Marshall stuff. So if I can sell all that stuff to one person in one swoop of sale, that would be optimal. That would be awesome. And he's like, yeah, man. He's an older fella, so he's like, yeah, man. My mom bought me a brand new JMP back in the 70s. That's what I use.
Uh-huh.
So the 100-watt JMP, like the late 70s. So
well, all right, man. That sounds like a pretty sweet deal.
Yeah, I think I sold all my Marshalls and kind of solved my space issue.
So
for the Nashville
how are
house.
you going to get all of those down to Nashville?
U-Haul trailer.
You're going to
Either a
trailer it?
U-Haul trailer or a U-Haul. Actually,
If
Todd
one falls off the
just-
back of the truck, I mean, I
No,
can.
here's what's going to happen. Todd's going to rent the U-Haul. Todd's going to load them up out of my basement, and Todd's going to bring them down.
Oh,
Oh,
And
that works out well.
Jared will pay Todd.
yeah.
I thought you were going to have them, load it into the back of the pick 'em up truck and then have them lay on top of it to keep everything in place.
I could.
Yeah. If you need
could-
help with that, though, I'll help you out there, buddy.
Yeah, I'll be more than glad to pay you money.
And Jared, if you need help, give Todd a call.
Yeah. Well, cool. That's really nifty there, Jared.
Thanks, fellas.
Yep. This week for me, I learned an interesting lesson. Practicing, we've got a show coming up, which I'm super stinking excited about, and I had the amp at our rehearsal area. And the rehearsal area, it's my drummer's basement. I mean, it's not.
It's a rehearsal area.
Yeah. Anyway, so I had recently, I play at home and then I go play at his house. And every time I play at his house, I'm like, my amp sounds terrible. I don't understand what's going on. Did I make a really bad decision? Why does it sound so different? So then I go home and then I rearrange all the pedals. And I'm like, this doesn't sound right anymore. Then I go back to his place and I say, this sounds like crap. It's a spiraling circle of doo-doo. Okay?
Okay.
So I plugged in again. I'm like, what the heck is going on? It just sounded weak and like fizzy, and it didn't have wasn't put. It almost like it's like, I guess, out of phase or something like that. To the point where I even got in the back of it and started switching all the wires around on the speaker alone, because I was like, is this wired backwards? Like, what is going on? And then I said, I wonder if it's this outlet. And he goes, oh, it probably is. It's one of those ones that has the little red thing. The
GFCI.
GFCI. He's like, oh yeah, that's probably it. And I'm like, man, I've been plugging in here for weeks now. You're telling me? And it was, and I plugged it in the other amp. I'm like, hey, there's my amp. And it's like, and I was like, damn. I've just wasted a colossal amount of time and frustration up the wazoo trying to figure out what pedals are doing what and the amp and the whole thing. And oh boy.
So it was kind of browning out, fizzling out on you.
Oh, it just sounded anemic. So, lesson, if you see a funny looking outlet at your friend's place that you're rehearsing at, do not plug your amp into it, man. You will not be happy. Sheesh.
Don't do it.
Yeah. I mean, I was even going like, geez, do I need to go get one of those super duper thick cord, like power cords or something? He's like, it shouldn't be that. And we've been playing down there for like 8 years. But he just happened to shift some things to uncover a closer outlet. And I was like, oh, I'll use this one. Sheesh.
I actually had the same exact thing happen in my basement. We just built a house like, I don't know, 4 years ago. And in my basement, the amp was just not doing right. It took me forever to figure out what was going on. And it was that stupid GFI outlet.
Right.
So I just took it out. And
Now I don't feel so stupid.
I took it out and installed a regular outlet. And I'm sure it's not up to code, but it's much better for me and my amp. So I'm happy.
Yeah. Well, lesson that I learned, but a good one. A good one. And now I have to kind of go back and go, okay, now where was I originally with the pedals and stuff? Because with I'm relearning my pedal board with the Marshall and all this stuff. And anyways, we need to get on with things.
Hey, Rick.
Yeah, what's up?
Oh, there you are. Are you still there? We didn't lose you yet, did we?
I was just sleeping really quick, just a real quick nap.
Yeah, a little cat nap.
Yeah.
So,
all muted.
I often have this problem where I have several pedals. I don't have as many as Todd, because Todd has
I don't have that many.
he's got like 80 pedals.
I do not
sitting
have
in the
80
basement.
pedals.
And then there's some are stacked on top of each
They're
other.
not stacked on
and
top of each other.
he plugs, one into the other, to the next, to the
Yes,
next.
I do that.
And the biggest issue I always have is, what's the best way to connect all of those pedals? Do you have a solution for me?
Tony, the answer is simple there's one company out of the Great North in Canada called Tour Gear Designs.
I think I've heard of these.
Yeah, and what do they make, Rick?
They make the absolute best flat patch cables. And I can tell you that's the truth because I rewired my entire board around Christmas time. And not only did I use the Guitar Knobs podcast coupon code.
Oh, yes.
But I ordered enough to also get free shipping, and they came pretty quick from Canada too. So,
Oh, yeah.
Did the guy sign the thing?
he did sign the thing. Yeah, he sure did.
He signs the thing, everybody.
Yep.
Are you in the kitchen, Jared? What is going on?
No, I was leaning back because my back was hurting.
I thought he was getting some
No,
chicken
his
fingers or
sandals
something.
off.
The guy signs the guy signs the thing on the thing.
So that's cool. So they're not terribly expensive to start with, and you said you used a coupon code to save even more money.
I did. I
Todd,
sure did.
what's that code?
The Guitar Knobs.
You just type that in.
Just type it in.
What do you save?
10%,
Extra 10% off.
That's a lot if you buy a lot of cords.
which you will because you're there, and
Yep.
it makes sense.
And just buy a bunch.
Yep. Head on over to tourgeardesigns.com/nothing. Just go there.
Pick out a bunch of them. And
Good
when you
save.
get to your cart, view your shopping cart. At the bottom, there should be a place to put a coupon code in. Type in the Guitar Knobs, save an extra 10%. You'll get your stuff really quick, even though it's from Canada.
Yep.
It comes fast. I
does.
can speak firsthand for that.
It's a great product,
It does.
everybody.
Yep.
Thank you so much to Tour Gear for sponsoring our 4 on the Floor. Jared.
Let me get a little bit of this.
1, 2, 3. 4 on the floor. All right, Rick Calhoun of Honeypix. Tell us what your 4 on the floor is.
Okay, so as I mentioned before, I've not been able to stop playing that Music Box Petals clone. So I'm going to have to start out with that first pedal with the Music Box Petals clone there.
Nice. And you did speak about that one already, so like we don't have to belabor that.
No, I think we should belabor it.
I don't know belaboring.
What color is it?
It's silver with oxblood knobs. So.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Arguably, maybe the best thing about that is the price,
Oh yeah,
all things considered.
and I will say I've owned a bunch of different of the clone type circuits, and I've never had a bad one. Everyone sounded really good, but this one that I've got is really special for me. I really like it.
Awesome.
Nice.
That's a great endorsement. What you got for number 2?
Number 2, I'm a huge fan of the Blues Breaker circuit, and
Why? I didn't mean it. That sounded it sounded very accusatory.
do I have
Where
to
are
place
you on
my
the
hand,
night of the 3rd?
do I have to place my hand on the Bible and tell you?
I
Or,
think you might have to. Well, that was kind of. I shot back from the table here a little bit.
I just really, I'm not really big on distortion. I like that Marshall Plexi sound, like the early Marshall sound, and the Blues Breaker just seems to do that, and it lets your natural tone kind of stay through. So the pedal that I've found that I like with that circuit is the Wampler Pantheon Deluxe.
Ooh.
And it's actually like Wampler Pantheon came out, I guess, a few years ago, and I never had that one, but I always thought it'd be really cool. But the Deluxe is actually 2 of those in one pedal.
Oh yes.
And
Can you stack them, or are they just two separate settings?
It's just they're both in one pedal.
I know, but I understand that. But can you stack them?
you can stack them. They're slightly different circuits. I don't really remember what makes one different than the other, but they are slightly different. You can switch. I'm pretty sure you can switch which one comes first
I
before
like
the
that
other.
in a pedal. I like that in a dual pedal.
Yeah, and for me, it just sounds great. It gives me exactly what I want out of an overdrive pedal.
That's cool.
Nice.
You know, Brian Wampler's been doing some really great content, by the way. He basically is been sending out like send me your questions via video. And he'll show the question that somebody sends in via video, and then he answers it. And every time he's on, it's like, holy mackerel, man. The guy, I always learn something. It's so good.
Yeah.
And he does it in such an approachable way. So thank you, Brian Wampler, for continuing to dazzle us with your knowledge and content.
Is that on his YouTube channel?
Yeah. No. It's coming through on Instagram.
Okay.
But it might be via TikTok. I can't remember. But anyway, no, it can't be via TikTok. So it's Instagram.
Okay.
Anyway, so number 3.
So number 3, I've got the Copper Sound Loma Prieta.
Ooh, yes.
That's a goodie.
And that pedal, that's for anybody that doesn't know, it's a harmonic tremolo, but it also does standard tremolo. But I mean, I've had and I love tremolo pedals, and especially harmonic tremolo, but this pedal is it's got that just soupy, vibey, I don't know. It's just got the thing, that you want to hear, and that inspires you, makes you want to play more. And Copper Sound pedals, the build quality is awesome. And I've heard him on this podcast before, another podcast, and he just seems like a super cool guy.
This one.
Mostly this one.
There are no other podcasts.
But the pedal is awesome, and it's beautiful, and it does everything I want out of a tremolo pedal.
Oh, that's excellent. Yeah.
One of my favorite things about that is that it has a volume, which is like,
well, it even has like a grit knob that adds like a preamp, which is really cool. And also there's like a tap tempo switch, but you can also change that tap tempo to be like double time.
Oh,
so if you hold it down like momentary, it'll go double time, and it's just a super cool tremolo pedal.
I'm going to get really geeky here because I'm still looking for, and I know this one exists out there. Does the engage button,
it's not a momentary switch.
Well, not a moment. I know it's not a momentary, but is it like the 3P? I can never say that right. The
solderless.
The clicky button.
the clicky button.
The 3PT beep.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
No.
If you click on it, it's not a soft switch. That's what for lack of better terms.
Soft switch.
Triple pole, double throw.
Thank you. 3P DT. See, solder. That's a god. Okay. Anyways, is it one of those or is it soft?
For the on and off switch, yes. I believe it's a hard click, like a 3P DT. Yeah.
Okay. Well. Okay. It's a great pedal. It sounds fantastic, though. We did get the opportunity to play that one, and it's great. I just don't remember if that was a. Anyways, moving on.
So for my last pedal, I've become a really big fan of Gfi System Shuyler, which is a reverb with, it's got a preset, but it's got 4 different reverb types you can choose. And with the way I play, I usually just use a plate style, and then they have another like ambient modulated sound, and I just switch back and forth between those two. But it's a small pedal, has preset, and I can run stereo out into the amps, and it does the thing. It sounds good to me.
Nice.
Awesome, man.
That's what matters.
Before that, I had the Strymon Big Sky, and I was switching to a new pedal board, and I love the Big Sky. It sounded great, but I was looking for something a little bit more compact. And as great as the Big Sky was, I don't think I've lost anything going to the GFI.
And there are some times where if you have, I don't want to say limited choices, but not as many options to change things around, it makes you kind of focus in and say, oh, I like the way this sounds, rather than spending days and hours just going in and switching out parameters. So I'm a big fan of simplified switches like that.
Yep.
or not switches, simplified pedals.
Well, yeah, and well, see, that's where the weird thing is, because these all have the digital readout on it and everything. So it's like it's simpler,
Yeah.
but it's still, there's a lot packed in there. Fair to say, Rick?
Yeah. I mean, the way I use it, I'm pretty simple with it, but I think you can even get on your computer with an app and go really in detail with how you want it to sound. But for me, it's just, I'll never hook it up to a computer. I just find what sounds good on the pedal, twist some knobs, and I just leave it.
Yeah.
Cool.
GFI's got some cool stuff for sure. Well, thank you for sharing your 4 on the floor. We really do appreciate it. And we are going to get into finding out more about you. And so this is a dual purpose interview, because you also have your own company called Honeypix.
Yes, I do.
Why don't we talk about that first? Let's just go forward with the Honeypix, and then that'll probably progress into like learning more about you as a supporter and as a person who is doing great things for a guitar universe out there and supporting other builders and all that good stuff.
Okay. Honeypix is started with me and my brother Andrew. We actually work together at our normal day job. Honeypix is our side hustle. And
what is your normal day job? Can you say? Or
yeah, we work in electronics. It's just a small family-owned business in Taylorsville here. We just make like have you seen the commercials, "I Fall and Can't Get Up"?
Yeah,
and they hit the little transmitter and it calls central office.
Yes.
We make those things here and things like that.
Oh, wow.
Interesting.
So in 2020, we know what happened in March, and things started to get slow here, and we
Not
had
as many people falling, or what? I don't understand. How do things get slow?
People just quit ordering, It was just
Go ahead.
okay. So anyway, so we were together, and at the shop we had recently bought a laser to put date codes on our products here, and we also had some acrylic, and I kind of at the same time, me and my brother doesn't play guitar, but he knows I've always been interested in picks, and he said, I can't remember if he said to me or if I said to him, let's try to make a guitar pick out of that acrylic and a laser. So we tried it. I got on CAD and drew up a pick real quick and put it on the thing, and he cut it out, and I looked at it and I thought, okay, we can maybe do some of this. And I got a Dremel tool out and butchered the crap out of this piece of acrylic and made about the crudest, ugliest looking pick you've ever seen in your life. And I thought it was Excalibur. I was proud of it. And immediately my mind started, let's do this. Let's go for it. Let's see what we can do. And I started designing picks like crazy, and he would cut them out, and I would bevel them and take them home and test them and tweak things. And we just went back and forth on that. And then I guess it was on my birthday, April 18th that year, that I put the first picks up on reverb.com. And from there, my brother is much more the engineering mind. So with the laser and cutting everything out and that side of thing, he's very good at that. And I'm more of the we both do hand finishing, but I do the hand finishing and the business side of Honeypix. So together we make a pretty good team, and it's kind of cool to be able to do something with my brother too.
That is cool.
So,
it sounds like you got a pretty solid family situation there.
Yeah, it's nice, It's pretty cool.
Is he older, younger?
He's 4 years younger than me.
What's his name?
Andrew.
Andrew, that's right. You said that. Andrew, thank you for helping your brother out.
Yes.
So, are you using mostly flat material and then beveling through, or what's the process?
Yeah, so we started out with acrylic, and you work in pick guards, so you probably know a lot of these materials. Have you heard of kieranite?
Yes.
No.
So kieranite is kind of a type of acrylic. It's like a hardened type of acrylic.
Yeah, it's almost like a Lexan.
I thought
Yeah.
acrylic was already hard as a rock.
Well, advertising, we like to say kieranite is a little tougher and a little stronger, and with a warmer tone. So
There you go. Smart man.
but yeah, it's basically
Snake oil.
a type of acrylic. But we've used that, and we've used case and Galilith material, which is really popular with acoustic players or bluegrass players.
Why?
It just gives that natural tortoiseshell type of tone that a lot of people used back in the day before.
Real tortoiseshell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before people realized that it wasn't very nice to kill turtles and take their shells to use them for things. So.
Yep.
Evicting them.
So are your? I think your picks tend to be a little on the thicker side as opposed to something like super lightweight.
At least the ones that we got.
The ones that that I tried, I thought they were a little on the heavier side.
Yeah. A lot of that's the question I get a lot of times is how thin can you make your picks? These seem a little heavy. What's the benefit of having a thicker pick and things like that? Because most people even I started out on like a Fender medium, and I played that for years, and it did a thing. And thin picks have a certain sound and a certain feel, and they do a certain job really well. And I still like some thin picks, but since I've started playing thicker picks, I like the way that it feels in my hand, like in a grip. I don't have to grip
easier
as
to
tight.
hold.
Yeah, definitely in terms of holding on to the pick. Yeah, it definitely has a better feel that way.
And you get more volume, and I feel like I can play. Like I feel like when I play a thicker pick, that it's easier for me to play. Like I can play faster with more accuracy. It is a thing that you can't just pick up if you're used to playing a Fender medium and then you go to a 3mm pick, it's gonna feel so different that it takes some time. You're gonna have to spend a little bit of time with it to get used to it and comfortable with it. But I think once you do get comfortable with it, it'll be hard for you to go back.
So do you think these are, in terms of thickness, about similar to picks that were used in the early 1900s or 1920s? Because I seem to remember that picks back then, before things were made out of celluloid and what have you, did tend to be on the thicker side.
I'm not an expert on that, on how thick they were back then. I know that I've seen them as thick as 1.5 millimeters, 2 millimeters, that were like made out of real tortoiseshell and things like that. But I'm not really sure if that was more common back then or not. But I just know for me, for when I play guitar, like anywhere from 1.5 to 6 millimeters I can play. But my sweet spot is right there around 2.5 to 3 is about my favorite all around thickness.
And are you playing more obvious? Well, I won't say obviously, but are you more kind of individual string, lead playing, or more strummy? Now
that's a good question. I usually play kind of with more of like a jazzy tip, like a jazz 3 size tip, around 3 millimeters with my lead playing, like on electric lead play. But on acoustic, I kind of like the way a 1.5 millimeter with more of a rounded tip feels for strumming. That for me, that just it feels more comfortable to strum that way. I got a little bit more pick in my hand, and the rounder tip also gives a warmer tone to the acoustic, and a more sharper tip gives a little bit more high end sound.
Yeah, I could see that.
Tony, did you know where the term plectrum comes from?
No, I don't.
Rick,
Where does it come from?
Do you know this? I'm not trying to go like, oh, I just looked it up. I'm not going like, well, look what I know. It's very interesting. It comes from the Greeks.
Everything is Greek.
Everything comes from Greece. And
Spray some Windex on it.
Yeah,
That's right.
I'm going to pronounce this wrong, but we'll just say a plectron, and which is basically Greek for spear tip.
Oh,
And so they would use them to play their.
They would use spears
They're
to play?
Liars.
who you calling a liar?
Liar. You. Liar. Amazing.
There it is.
Yeah. So we still use the term. The British do. It's a plectrum.
It's a plectrum.
Yes.
That's a sophisticated way of saying guitar pick.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. Anyways, just a little spot of history there.
Oh, thanks, Todd.
You're welcome. I don't know why I sound like Kermit the Frog today. Okay, please continue. The nonsense will happen. We just have to walk around it.
Yeah, there are lots of times where we go off tangent.
Indeed. So diving into the world of picks, I'm assuming because you kind of just said, "Hey, I wonder if we did this." You didn't set out to conquer the world of picks or to do all those things, but share with us some of the interesting things that you've discovered in getting deep into this.
Well, one of the neat things is like when I don't think everybody kind of understands that there is, just like there's a boutique pedal market, there's also a boutique pick market. Mm-hmm. And it seems like in 2020 and last year, there was a few of us that just kind of came out about the same time. I think most people probably know VPix because VPix has been around forever, and that's the first pick that I knew, first pick company that I knew that was doing something different. And then Gravity came out, and I think a lot of people really know Gravity since they're being sold on Sweetwater. But there's a whole pick community out there that make a whole bunch of different crazy looking things, and we inspire each other. And just like I hear guys in the pedal community talk about how nice everybody is to each other and helpful everybody is to each other, we're the same way. And when somebody has an issue, we try to help them out. And that whole experience for me has really been a blessing to get to know all these guys and hang out with them on forums and just talk shop back and forth,
You don't let anybody pick on each other.
No. Nice.
Hey, kids, it was sitting right there. I mean, what am I going to leave that hanging?
And you comment on my humor all the time.
Yeah, I know.
Don't pick on Todd.
So, yeah. Okay, I want to understand. For me, like as a rhythm player. And I say that loosely. I am just the player. I don't have a choice of what I'm doing, but predominantly heavy strumming and, sort of power chordy stuff. This is one of those things where it's like, I ergonomically would really love to not try to hang on to a piece of the thinnest material known to man, because the strain that it puts on my hand is crazy.
Right.
But I need the flexibility. If you see a hand, really hitting the, raking the strings in slow motion, I mean, the pick is flopping all over the place. You need that kind of response. I'm assuming that you've dealt with a lot of questions like that, like, hey, how can I use a thicker pick for a more rhythm-oriented playing?
Yeah, I mean, we get that question all the time, and the only real good answer is you just have to practice with it. Just like when you first picked up the guitar and you started playing with your pick, it felt awkward in your hand. and you didn't really know what to do with it. But after time, it felt comfortable. Well, same things happen. I mean, I can play with a 3 millimeter pick, the same thing on acoustic guitar, strumming wise, that I can play with a thin pick. It's just you have to learn to be comfortable with it. There's no other way around it. And I know what you mean. Like with some players and some styles, like I think of funk guitar. Like, do you guys know who Corey Wong is?
Oh yeah, that guy is amazing.
If you watch that guy when he plays, his wrist looks like it's just a rubber band.
Yeah.
And the way he plays a pick, there's no other pick that he could use that wasn't super thin and super flexible with the way he plays.
Right.
With his style, that's just the only thing that's going to work for that sound. I don't think a 3mm pick would give him that same percussiveness that he's looking for out of that thin pick.
Yeah. I assume that most of the people that are getting, especially when you're getting into like the really thick picks, like there's some out there that are monsters, you know, they look like, cut gems almost.
In I think the thickest we've ever made is somewhere around 10 or 12 millimeters.
Yeah. But that's for like, full on, like super precision shredders and stuff.
Scraping ice off the windshield.
Yes. I mean, and some guys can really play with those. For me, like I had this one pick, this guy from, he was, might have been Portugal. Yeah, it was somewhere over there. It might have been Portugal. But he asked for a 9mm pick with speed bevels all the way around and the size of it and all this stuff. So I was like, okay, because I'm thinking in my head, I don't know exactly how this is going to look, how this is going to play, but we'll go for it, right? And so I made it, and it was absolutely stunning and gorgeous. Like I looked at it, I was like, man, this is a beautiful pick. I don't think I could ever play with it, but he could play with it and he enjoyed it. But for me, once it gets past 6mm, it's kind of just eye candy for me. But I can play comfortably at 5.6mm. But
that's pretty. Yeah, that's remarkable.
But I couldn't do that when I first started making picks. There's no way. It's kind of like I started at 1.5, moved to 3, moved to 4, and moved to 5. But you just can't make that jump and expect it to feel comfortable right away.
Right. Well, something else that I think you're doing, which is interesting, and I imagine this is just part of like getting into the deeper side of picks, just like any other kind of thing, whether it's amps, guitars, or pedals or whatnot, is aside from like the thickness. We've talked an awful lot about the thickness of the picks, and we'll move off of that. But you're also creating different types of ergonomic features.
Oh yeah, we've got
and function features. Tell us about some of that.
Well, we have somewhere around 10, 11 different shapes, and they come in 3 different sizes. But alongside with that, something that's been really popular option for people is the grips that we offer. And so we offer a honeycomb grip, which is just a honeycomb shaped hole that we cut through the pick that adds grip that way. We also add what we call a royal grip, which is little raised dots along the pick that help with control. And that's been really popular lately. And our latest grip that we came out with was kind of a nod to some of the vintage picks that you might have seen with the cork grips. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But the difference is like those old pick grips, the old cork grips was just the cork was stuck on top of the pick, but we've actually inlaid the cork into the pick. So it's not sticking out. It's the same level as the pick, and it's actually really comfortable. And that's kind of become my favorite grip option that we have. But all those different grips, offer a a comfort level, and some people have, some people might really like the grips, and some people would just prefer it without the grip. So,
So what kind of pricing do you have? I mean, what's your price range on these picks?
The picks, I mean, we do make a 0.56 millimeter pick, and that starts at $1.50.
Okay.
And then our acrylic,
That is affordable.
and then we start at with our standard acrylic stuff starts at $6, and then we go all the way up to. I mean, we've made some really wild custom stuff. One custom pick that was really cool that my brother came up with. He took a bunch of cutoffs that was scrap from Kieranite.
I thought you were talking about like short Levi shorts.
No, I knew
Where is this
I know
going?
what a cutoff is.
Like when you use the laser to cut out the picks, what's left over, he took that material and he cut it into little strips, and he glued those all together and clamped it all together, and he made a pick out of that, out of like 12 pieces that he put together, and that was really cool looking, and that was like $50 or something like that. But that's just because the amount of time that it took to make that pick, and then we hand finish every single one of these and buff them, and we're real meticulous about the way it looks and how it leaves. So,
Well, when we got the our assortment that we got, I mean, you could tell it was like super quality stuff, and that there was a crafts person behind it and thought was put into those. So that comes through loud and clear.
yeah.
And I think, at the prices, I think people are used to, 25 cents or 50 cents for a celluloid pick or something like that. But honestly, these are, I mean, you have to appreciate the workmanship that goes into it. And, you certainly don't want to lose these picks.
You don't. But the thing is like, it's just like sunglasses. If you get cheap sunglasses, you're going to lose them. You're going to break them. You're going to smash them.
Yeah.
And then you're not going to really care because you're like, no, so what? I didn't pay too much for it. But if you got a nice pair of sunglasses, you take care of them and you don't lose them.
And another big difference is those picks that you buy, the celluloid and stuff, they're cheap, but they also wear very quick.
Yep.
And the materials that we use, they're going to last way, way longer than celluloid will.
Yeah.
Interesting. So, by the way, where can people go find that out right now? We'll share that at the very end, but where can people go do that?
Yeah, you can find that at honey-pix.com.
Awesome.
Or just look on Instagram. I think it's honey.pix at Instagram, or at honey.pix.
Awesome.
Yep.
People
Nice.
heard that. People are heading there right now.
Right.
So let's find out a little bit more about you while we have you on the line as a supporter of the show. That is important to us.
You know what's funny? I've always been a podcast fan from the very beginning. I remember I was excited when I found out Guitar Knobs came and had a podcast, but I got to be honest with you. I listened to like the first 2 or 3, and I was like,
no.
I don't know about this. I might trust. I might go.
We don't recommend anybody listen to those.
Yeah.
But I came back like a few months after that, and I was like, oh, wow, this is actually pretty good.
Oh, that must have been when I first started.
It was like riding a bike for Todd. He had a hard time like learning how, and then once he knew
I'd say
how-
it's more like falling off a bike for Todd.
Yeah.
It's like those first picks I made that were just butchered.
You got to start somewhere.
Blunt.
Yeah, you got to.
Nah, it works out good. And yeah, it's
But yeah, I just want to say, like, I listen to you guys all the time, and I'm just glad that I'm able to support you guys. And
well, we really appreciate it. I mean, it really does make a difference.
Our supporters take really good care of us, and it means a lot. And so, from your perspective, tell us how you kind of like fell into loving all this guitar world stuff, man.
Okay, so I guess it would start when I was in 7th grade. I played clarinet in the band and at school, and I remember our band director was really cool. Like he was so cool, Mr. Reed. And
Wait. Mr. Reed?
Mr. Reed, Terry
That's
Reed.
perfect for a clarinet.
Yep.
My band director in high school was Mr. Reed too.
Nice. Well, did your Mr. Reed also love Megadeth and Metallica and play?
No.
No. Well, when we would have time off in class, he would always get his half stack Laney and his Ibanez shred guitar, and he would just rock out. And I remember thinking that was so cool. And we moved to, when I went to high school, I played in jazz band, and I graduated to saxophone because that was way cooler than clarinet.
Oh, yeah.
And the whole time I'm playing saxophone, I'm looking over there at my friend playing guitar. I'm like, man, he is so much cooler than me. I just want to play guitar. And so when I was in 10th grade, I knew that my dad had he kept my grandpa's guitar in the closet. When he passed away, my dad got that guitar from him, and I never really looked at it. But one day coming home from school, I was like, "Hey, Dad, you mind if I play that guitar, get that guitar out?" And of course, he was excited that I wanted to play. And so I got that guitar, and I got a Mel Bay book and started learning. And then I realized what guitar I had. So I had a 1965 Gibson J45.
Oh, brother.
Oh, dear.
And so,
Oh dear. Oh my heaven.
Oh, dear.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, dear.
so that's the guitar that I taught myself how to play on. So I started from the top, and with no money, wanted to play electric. And I went to get an electric guitar and done all kinds of things. I played in church bands for years and years, and had a few bands on the side. Never really did anything.
So what was your first electric guitar?
Well, my first electric guitar was a Suzuki Strat copy with super microphonic pickups in it.
No extra charge.
And and the amp that I got with it, this was a pawn shop deal. The amp that I got with it was a either 5 or 10 watt Gorilla amp, like a 1x8 speaker. And I remember the slogan. It was "Nothing screams like a gorilla." And I remember thinking that must be true because nothing can sound this awful. And
Wow.
Oh, yes. I remember the Gorillas.
all I wanted to do was play, rock and roll, and the amp just would not do it, and the guitar just would not do it. And I didn't, I didn't have any teachers or any friends that played that could show me the ropes, and I just didn't know what was going on until I finally realized you could buy these things called pedals, and you can actually have distortion through pedals and reverb through pedals. And but yeah, that's kind of what started the whole thing.
What band out there aspired you? What's your favorite band? Like what did you try to learn first after you went through the Mel Bay book?
Okay, so growing up, I was always kind of that kid that didn't know who any of the pop people were. I was listening to all the classic rock stuff. So I remember back in high school, I was really listening a lot to bands like Boston and Kansas and
My man.
the Eagles, and I mean all that great stuff. And I'm still listening to that stuff today. Allman Brothers bands is one of my all-time favorites.
Oh yeah.
All that stuff.
Okay.
Anybody in particular from a that is still inspiring you?
If you had to listen to a band the rest of your life, who would it be? Just one band. It could only be one. Who would it be?
Oh man, that is really tough. I'm probably gonna say Tedeschi Trucks Band.
Oh,
There you go.
okay, yeah.
Yeah. Derek Trucks on slide guitar and Susan Tedeschi singing, and that whole band with horns, and it just
Rhythm and blues, baby. That's awesome.
I just love that band.
That's cool, man. Do you do a lot of sliding?
No, I suck at slide.
Well, keep practicing.
You know,
All you got to do is practice.
I haven't as much as when I think about all the players I listen to, like Joey Landreth and Ariel Posen and Marcus King and these guys, Greg Koch, all of them use slide, and they're all amazing slide players.
Greg's an amazing player.
Yep.
But I've never really my personality is kind of, if it doesn't come easy, I don't always put in the effort that it needs to do. So playing guitar wasn't really hard to me, or it wasn't at the beginning like it is for everybody, but I progressed pretty quickly in it. I'm still not a great guitar player, but I can play the dad blues that I like to play. But when it comes to slide, like, I've just never been able to really nail it, and I've never really sat down and put in the time that I really should, But
Well,
but I love slide play.
I think that a lot of us fall into that, where it's just like that's the hard part about playing, is like if you play something and you're like, hey, I feel like I'm doing something, you get stuck in that, and then you get real frustrated because then you start trying to learn something. You're like, this is hard, and then you go, let's play the thing I know how to play.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Yeah. I definitely fall into that, and if I'm playing outside of like what the music that I've created for my band, you can slip into that real easy, and I have to fight not to do it, and I try to learn new stuff. But well, dude, I'm really excited that your pick company's going well, and I think there's going to be a lot of people benefiting from what you're doing out there, and you're also building your, strengthening that little community of pick builders, which is kind of neat. And we're just grateful that you're out there doing that, man.
Oh yeah. Well, thank you for having me on here, man. I appreciate it. This is pretty wild because I'm used to listening to you guys all the time, and to be on here and talk to you guys is kind of surreal.
That's good.
But I will say it's going exactly how I thought it would.
But badly.
Doesn't get any better than that.
We'll just leave it at that.
So,
Ladies and gentlemen.
Well, hang on. Tony's got something.
I got something. So if somebody wants to try out, say, like a variety of different things, I know you have some variety packs and different things. What would you recommend?
Great point, Tony.
Somebody to start out with?
We have a kind of like a sampler pack that's got different thicknesses and different shapes, called the Swarm Pack, and it's discounted, and you can get, it's meant to give a first-time buyer an overall idea of what we're all about. So we've got those, and we also have the pick 4s, and those you can get those 4 picks cheaper than if you were to buy 4 separate picks. So
nice. And I think people should,
it's worth exploring.
I think people need to not be afraid to try something a little bit different.
Yeah.
Because ultimately it can, I know sometimes if I'm switching up strings or, using something different that I'm not used to using, it usually has, it can have some good, effects, and
right.
it might change the way you play a little bit. But I think that it's something that you can experiment with. So I think it's a great opportunity to try something that isn't going to cost you an arm and a leg.
All right, Rick, we're going to wrap this up, and before we head on over to the El Camino and jump in and head down to Jared's house, we need to find out if there's anything that you would just like to share with the listeners and maybe even fellow builders and whatnot.
Yeah, I think first of all, thanks for having me on here, and I also want to say, for you, everybody that's kind of curious about picks, want to try picks out, there's please visit honey-picks.com and our Instagram and all that. But also that pick community I was talking about, there's a great resource for that called heavyrepping.com. And John Tron Davidson out of the UK is a good friend of mine, and he has had a lot of the pick makers gathered together at his website, and he does reviews, and he does some really cool things on his Instagram and some YouTube videos where he talks about the history of picks. But we're all a big happy family over there, so definitely go check him out at heavyrepping.com. And also, I just want to say, my brother's not here with me, but Andrew, when you do listen to this, man, thank you so much for all you do, helping me out here and everything that you do. We definitely couldn't do Honeypix at all without you, man. And also to everybody else out there, this is crazy times that we're dealing with. Just remember to try to be friendly with each other. You know, that's all we have to do. Just be friendly with each other.
I like that. That's a good sentiment to have. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. All right, Tony, you got the keys? No, that's all right. Here we go. Yeah. Let's go see if Jared's on the front porch, pick him up, and go down to Would You Ratherville.
Let's do this. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's come to the super fun segment of the show with your super favorite knob, who is me, and not Tony. Well, maybe Tony is. I don't know. But it's time for Would You Rather? All right, would you rather?
Little pitchy dog.
Thanks. Awesome music teacher. Mr. Reed. So your buddy asks you,
Where's this from?
It's James Pegler. It's our boy, James Pegler. Everybody, James Pegler.
Yes, and I did do a little thing to say, hey, we're going to do the thing and send us your Would You Rathers, and we got a whole bunch of responses. And,
nice.
Yeah, so here's his James's.
All right, can I do it now? Thanks. Your buddy asks you last minute to open for him at a show because the opener fell through. Like, it's gone. But your gear's at the drummer's house an hour away, so there's no time to get it.
Oh, no.
He assures you that he has great stuff, and you can borrow his gear at the show. Oh, yes.
Yeah, famous last words.
That's right.
Suzuki Strat and a Gorilla amp.
It's better than that. The gear is not what you expected. He has a Roland G707 synth guitar.
Oh, boy.
From around 1984. Think Andy Summers of the Police.
Oh, yes.
Complete with the Roland GR700 guitar synth multi-effects. Or he has a Casio EG5 guitar with cassette player and built in, for those who don't know, the cassettes are the little plastic tapes, cassette tapes, and built-in amp speaker that you can play clean with or distortion. Yay. So would you rather use the Roland G707 with the GR700 synth multi-effects pedal direct to the front of the house, or would you use the Casio EG5, which must be plugged in with the power adapter cord and mic'd at the built-in speaker to go into the front of the house? So it's like you have an acoustic guitar without a pickup, and you have to play into a microphone all night. Point it to the speaker of the guitar. Have fun with that.
The question, does he have a selection of Honeypix that you can use?
That's not in the thing.
It's not in the thing.
But he can use them if he wants.
Don't
we could
throw
say
me off. Oh, boy.
This is a good one.
Talk about the lesser of two evils. Hey.
Tony, can you add a little context about these two awesome weirdo guitars for the people?
Yeah, I mean, the Roland G707, that was one of the early, well, not the earliest, but an early guitar synthesizer. So it's got, it's kind of like a Yamaha shaped body, sort of an SG double cutaway. And they actually, it's a decent instrument. It has a hex pickup and
it's a remarkable instrument.
Yeah.
Let's just say, like at that time,
there was nothing else like it, and a lot of major players, Andy Summers included, used one of those. The downside is you had to have an outboard synthesizer, that took the signal from the hex pickup, and then, of course, just like with many synthesizers. you play around with all the knobs and things like that and get the sounds that you want. I think they had some preset types of things.
Tons and tons of
yeah,
presets.
It was pretty much limitless. You can make it sound like an organ. You can make it sound like a timpani. You can make it sound like anything under the sun. The Casio, on the other hand, oh boy.
I mean, they kind of developed the Helix 40 years before the Helix.
Yeah.
Well, nah, not really. I mean, it was more of a synthesizer.
In the sense, well, yeah, but I mean, beyond actual synth tones,
yeah,
they said in this box contains every sound that you could possibly want to and imagine and craft and organize and all that stuff. I'm not saying it's a one-to-one thing, but that was 40 years ago.
Yeah, you're right. It was. The Casio, on the other hand, is my favorite is the built-in cassette deck. That's always nice, and the built-in speaker. Oh boy,
yeah,
you have to play directly into a microphone.
Wow.
But it is a little bit more like a regular guitar shape-ish thing. I mean, maple neck on it and everything.
Yeah, sorta. I mean, the Roland was actually. I mean, like I said, it to me it always looked like a one of the old Yamaha solid guitar bodies. SGB.
I want to add one more detail to this too. The cassette tape that goes with the Casio is one of the newer clear ones, so you could see through it. I don't know if that's going to change anybody's.
Oh, well, since you put it that way.
It's a 90-minute tape. It's a 90-minute tape. It's a good one. It's a Memorex.
Oh,
okay.
Is it live or is it Memorex?
Yeah. Well, let's see here. Tony, why don't we get on with this?
Well, I mean, I honestly think that
because the Roland does have that really cool brace that goes above the rail thing for whatever reason. That was awesome.
Yeah.
It's cool looking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't like either choice, but if I had to choose between the two, the Roland definitely had a better history, they played better. But, neither one of these would be my first choices. I would say in terms of overall sound quality, once you figured out what sounds you could get from the synth portion, which I guess is going straight to the board, I think you could get better sound out of the Roland side as opposed to trying to mic a little 4-inch or 3-inch speaker that's on board on a guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, coming from years of, back before there were a lot of under saddle pickups for acoustic guitars when I would play.
I thought you were going to say indoor bathrooms.
Back before there was indoor bathrooms and plumbing and such. No, back in the days when, if I was doing an acoustic gig and you were miking the sound hole on an acoustic guitar, you move around and it doesn't work. So I'm going with the Roland.
Yes. Okay. Sounds good. Jared, about yourself.
Roland, I am not familiar with either guitar very well. I have that. Do you remember me showing you that black Roland guitar?
Yes. It has the knot strings on it. They're covered in something.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm going to go Roland only because my dad bought a Roland drum machine in 1987 or 86. And I still have it. And it still works. And it reminds me of him. So for sentimental reasons and for a lack of knowledge of both of those, I'm going to go with the Roland.
You guys are both saying Roland. Am I missing something? It's not Roland?
It's Roland.
Are you sure?
Yes.
That's not a weird Ohio thing?
No.
What do you say, Rick?
It's always been Roland to me.
Yeah, I'm going with Roland.
Losers.
So, Rick, how about yourself? What are you doing?
Roland.
The Casio sounds like a nightmare to me. The cassette and the speaker and having to stand in front of a microphone, all that sounds terrible.
Well, yeah. What if it eats the cassette thing while you're playing?
Yeah, so
you have to get a pencil out and, reset the tape with the pencil.
Anyways.
So, yeah, it's going to be the Roland for me.
I want to pick the Roland.
Rayland?
For the purposes that when I, growing up and watching some, I think, I'm trying to think. I know I saw a couple new wave bands, using those back then. There was just such a weirdo cool factor. Like, whoa, what's that? Oh, that looks so cool. But I think I could probably get a little bit more rocky, punky kind of just let it rip on the Casio EG5. As much as I want to do that one, I know that I'm not the stand there and pick one note at a time kind of dude. So I'll just you know what I'll do? I'll get some duct tape and I'll just strap a mic to the front of that thing and then go crazy. I will just cover it in duct tape and go. Anyways, that's what we're doing. That was a great one. Sent to us by who, Jerry?
James Pegler.
Thank you so much for sharing that. That was really fun. Tony, we got a lot of people we got to thank.
Holy moly, do we got people we got to thank. We love to thank. At this point of the show, there's a special group of people. We call them executive producers. Well, you might be wondering, what is an executive producer? And more importantly, how can I become one? It's quite simple. Go over to patreon.com/the guitar knobs and check out a couple different levels in which you can participate. Become a sponsor, a patron of this very podcast. Hey, just help make the show possible. And that's what our executive producers do.
That's right.
Each level comes with a great bevy of thank you gifts. But as an executive producer, you get all the good stuff. And there's one thing more, Jared.
You can have your name read on the thing.
Your name read on the thing. That's what I'm going to do right now. So special thanks to these executive producers. Breath in, breath out. Breath in.
Oh, my gosh.
Moon Guitars. Vader and Pedals. Drew Lopez. John Helverson. Rick Calhoun.
All right.
I know him. I know him personally.
That's right.
Trevor Gunberg. Elad Mizrahi. I went back to my evil ways.
Elad.
You're allowed to say Elad. I got it. Jason Rausch. Mikey D. Richard Kendall. Mark Garton, Matt Hart, James White, Justin Jones, Anthony Gemalero, Bill Lagola Guitars, John Esterly, Anthony Lathrop.
Humanitarians.
Yes, all. One and all.
Yay!
Stefan Lamb, Michael Senchuk, Ken Sayers, Doug Christ, Darren Gregory, John Englund, Tom Brezen, John Sluhan, Rusty Sneeden, Rolf Gottschalk. Or Ralph.
Ralph.
Is it Ralph?
It's Ralph.
I always want to say Rolf.
I don't.
I don't know why. Okay. David Poe, Don Kloss, and Gregory Randall.
That is correct.
Hey, Todd, you interrupted me.
I'm sorry.
Because there's a special group of executive producers. We call them our Grand Poobahs.
Yes,
that's right.
They're the top of the heap. So without further ado, I'm going to say a special thanks to these Grand Poobahs. Tommy Manasco, Ricardo Higuereta, David Kaminga, Brandon Wound Pickups.
That's right.
Hex Matos, Michio Murakishi, Bob Crouch, Jack Cadian, Sam Jett, Tyler Rhines, LSJ Music Company, John Williams, James Pennington, who gave us a wonderful scratch your head. No?
That was James Begler.
Close. Sorry, James.
I think he submitted one. We're going to read that one off later. He did submit one. We'll read that off later.
Okay. Well, just cancel that. But I do appreciate you submitting it.
Put it on pause.
Put it on pause. Yes, indeed. Adam Johnson, Steve Keys, Cody Foster, Science of Sound. Brian Robinson, Jonathan Jerusik, Corey Nigro, Michael Van Zant, Tim Nowak, Jonathan Daly, Martin Cliff, Sean S. That's And Eddie Serratos, thank you.
Indeed. So much thanks. We truly appreciate you all. So, Rick, where can people go find your stuff and get it? Oh, wait. Actually, you know what we're going to do, Rick? Before people go get that stuff, we're going to get a couple. I think we should we'll get a couple
sampler packs.
I think
Nice.
I think a couple of our listeners need to get some of those.
Let's do it.
We're going to work that out with
Let's
you. Okay.
do it.
Yeah, that sounds great.
All right. So be looking for those supporters. Not be looking for those supporters. Be looking for those supporters.
Punctuation. It's all about the punctuation.
All right.
Commas are important.
Yes. So where can people find you?
Yeah, like I said before, on Instagram is honey.pix. And then from my website, honey-pix.com. And or just get on the Google machine and type in Honeypix. We'll show up.
Sounds good. Tony,
Yes, Todd.
where can people find you?
Go over to pickguardian.com. I don't make guitar picks, but I do make pick guards. And check out some of the wares I have available for purchase online. Shoot me an email. Let me know what you need for custom work, which is, honestly, it's more than half of what I do is custom stuff. So
For good reason.
yeah, just
You're
shoot
good
me
at it.
Shoot me an email. Oh, thank you, Todd.
You're welcome.
Wow, you're just full of.
You are. You're
Wow.
really
Thank
good at
you.
what you do.
I'm tearing up over here.
All right.
But shoot me an email. Let me know what you need, what you want, what you're trying to do. I might even have some good advice for you. You never know. I've done a lot of stuff. Pickguardian.com.
Okay, Jared, where can people find you?
I don't remember what that Instagram is.
Bozo.
Jared, the
Change-
pickup winding fool
change
guy
the
from
name.
used to be from Columbus area, now in Nashville.
Yeah, .com. We're gonna work on trying to sort this out for you because
Jared the pick. I don't even remember.
It's a
Jared
mess.
Pickup Winder Brandon.
Yeah, no, that's not it either. We'll figure it out. Hey, everybody, you can shoot me any.
I don't think anybody cares.
They do. They
They
want to
do
reach out. to
care.
you.
They want to reach out and
they don't.
touch.
Yeah, they will. Well, they can't find you. You can shoot me an email, Todd at theguitarknobs.com. You can also DM me on Instagram, and that is at guitarknobs because you can't find Jared's. I can't even find Jared's. So please send us your would you rathers like we did tonight.
Yes.
And you just your general thoughts and check out what we're doing and all that business. And also, I'm going to plug my little band here. Please go listen to the Villentinos. You can get all of our music pretty much for free because music is pretty free anyways. Spotify, all the streamy bits.
Except Spotify was down today.
Oh, no.
Yes.
I lost
Down for several hours.
a millionth of a cent. Oh, no. Yeah. Anyways, go. I'd really appreciate if you checked them out. And if you do check it out, and I'd love to hear what you think about it. Even if you think it sucks, tell me.
No, it doesn't.
No,
suck.
don't. But, don't be too hard on me.
Yeah.
But anyways, thank you so much, Rick Calhoun of Honeypix, for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for having me. It was a blast.
You are welcome. And to all of you out there, please stay safe. And like Rick said, just be friends. Be friendly to each other.
Yeah.
And, be good in life and junk. All right.
Nice.
Have a great guitar week. Subscribe!
Oh, yeah. I made lasagna.
Hey.
I hate it when your flip flop falls off and you try to put it back on your foot and it just keeps getting further away and you can't reach it.
No.
And then you're
What? What? What are you pointing at? You're just making sure. I appreciate that, though. What? Do we say what today? What are you pushing on? I can
But
see you
half my-
sprawled out
half-
with your butt actually off the couch in a prone position, but
I
still
got
on
it.
the couch.
and half of my
reaching
foot's numb
halfway across
anyway,
the floor.
so it's an extra challenge because half that foot is numb and I can't feel anything. So.
Why is your foot numb?
Oh man, I bought a lawnmower the other day. In fact, I busted the nail on my big toe. I didn't even know it.
That was awful. What's like that? I don't know why I'm afraid to clap.
Clap towards the mic.
like a man. Damn it!
Go, I'll take you to Mayberry. It's
I
just
love
like it
Andy
was on
Griffith.
TV. And I don't
I
know
watched
if it-
the whole. Oh, I love that show. It's so dumb. Floyd the Barber. God, I love Floyd the Barber. He's the best. He's arguably one of the best TV characters. We're just in it for the jokes, Rick.
Chris,
Right?
Hang
Stop.
on, hang on,
Zip,
hang on.
Zip
Hold
it. Zip it. Save it.
Floyd the Barber.
If we came over right now and hit it with a hammer, would you know?
No, not on the
Oh,
big
let's
toe.
do it. Let's do it. That's worth a road trip. I'll drive 6 hours for that.
It's
Man,
clippy, dog.
You're
real
do it
clippy,
better.
dog.
Do it better.
So, Rick, you go over there and hit him with a hammer. And,
Yeah.
and then run like hell. You got something, Tony?
I got nothing.
Well, that's it for these knobs. Please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/theguitarknobs. Visit our website at theguitarknobs.com for all of our past episodes, 4 on the Floor blog, and other good stuff. You can connect with us on social too at our Facebook page and share your gear and stories on our Facebook group. Also, be sure to check out our Instagram at Guitar Knobs. Catch you next time.